When I bought my dream house, I thought I was stepping into peace and freedom. But instead, I stepped right into the crosshairs of the most controlling HOA president you could imagine. Her name? Karen, and she was about to sue me for living outside her HOA. I had just moved into my new property, a cozy home sitting on the edge of a suburban neighborhood. The house wasn't flashy, but it was mine. The deed was clear. No HOA restrictions, no monthly dues, no one telling me what to do with my own lawn, or so I thought. 2 days after I moved in, a woman in her late 50s stormed up to my driveway. Blonde bob haircut, oversized sunglasses, clutching a clipboard like it was a weapon. She didn't even introduce herself. "You," she barked. "This house. You're not allowed to plant that tree. It hasn't been approved by the HOA board." I raised my eyebrow. "Excuse me, I'm not in your HOA." Her eyes narrowed like a hawk spotting prey. "Everyone in this community is under my HOA. Everyone. That includes you." At first, I laughed it off. But the next week, I got an official-looking letter taped to my door. Notice of violation. Unauthorized landscaping. Fine. $250. I crumpled it up and tossed it in the trash. Then came another letter. Then another. Within a month, she claimed I owed $200 in fines. For what? Painting my garage door without approval. Parking my truck facing the wrong direction. Even for leaving my recycling bin out an extra hour, and every time, I replied with the same words. "I'm not in your HOA." But Karen wouldn't stop. One morning, I opened my mailbox and froze. A summons. Karen was suing me in court for HOA violations, even though my deed clearly showed I wasn't a member. I called my lawyer. He chuckled when I told him, "Don't worry, we'll shut this down fast." But deep down, I knew, with Karen, nothing would ever be that simple. Little did she know. The moment she dragged me into court, she had already set her HOA's destruction in motion. Karen thought the courtroom was her kingdom. She thought all she had to do was scream rules and everyone would bow. But she had no idea her entire empire was about to collapse. The courtroom was packed. Neighbors had shown up just to see the drama unfold. Some supported her. Most were just curious. Karen stood proudly with her thick binder of violations. I sat calmly with my lawyer, holding one folder, the truth. Karen rose, voice sharp and commanding, "Your Honor, this man has flagrantly violated HOA rules. He painted without approval, landscaped without permission, and refuses to pay dues. He thinks he's above the community." The judge raised an eyebrow. "Ms. Karen, is the defendant officially a member of your HOA?" "Of course," she snapped. "Anyone living near our community is automatically a member." Murmurs rippled through the courtroom. My lawyer stood, calm, steady. "Your Honor, that is factually false. Here is the county zoning map certified. My client's property lies outside the HOA boundary." He handed the judge the document. The judge compared it with Karen's outdated map. "These don't match," the judge said, frowning. "Ms. Karen, why are your documents years old?" Karen stammered. "It's just a clerical delay, but he still broke our rules." She slammed her hand on the table. "He laughed at me. He mocked my authority. If we let people like him live freely, the neighborhood will fall apart." The judge's voice turned cold. "This is not your board meeting. This is a courtroom. Stick to evidence, not feelings." The crowd chuckled. Karen's face burned red. I took the stand. My lawyer asked simple questions. "Did you ever sign HOA membership documents?" "No." "Have you ever paid HOA dues?" "Never." "Does your deed contain HOA restrictions?" "Not one." The judge examined my deed. It clearly said no HOA. Karen's shoulders sagged, but my lawyer wasn't done. "One more thing, Your Honor. According to state records, this HOA hasn't filed its required paperwork for 3 years. Legally, it no longer exists." Gasps filled the courtroom. The judge turned to Karen. "Is this true?" Karen's mouth opened, but no words came out. The judge leaned forward. "If that's correct, not only is this case invalid, but your entire HOA is already dissolved." Little did she know. The moment she dragged me into court, she had already set her HOA's destruction in motion. Karen thought she was about to win, but in one sentence, her entire kingdom crumbled, and everyone was there to see the fall. The judge reviewed the certified documents my lawyer had submitted. Confirmed. This HOA has failed to file legally required reports. Therefore, it is dissolved. The room erupted in whispers and laughter. Karen jumped up screaming, "This is a setup. He sabotaged us. Without me, this neighborhood will collapse." The judge slammed his gavel. "No, Ms. Karen. It collapsed because of your negligence." Case dismissed. The sound of that gavel echoed like a death sentence for her empire. Within days, the entire neighborhood buzzed. People who had suffered under her petty fines and bullying felt free for the first time. No more notices. No more stupid rules. Karen's dictatorship is over. Neighbors even thanked me for standing up to her. Karen stopped walking around with her clipboard. Her house grew quiet. People whispered she barely left anymore. Her power was gone, and with it, her pride. One night, I saw her on her porch, head in her hands, sobbing. The queen had lost her crown. But for me, the fight wasn't over. A week later, I received a letter from the State Attorney General's office. Due to evidence presented, a criminal investigation into fraudulent HOA practices has been opened. You may be called as a witness, I smiled. Karen thought the nightmare was over, but for her, it was only beginning. She tried to ruin me. Instead, she destroyed herself. And now, the law was coming for her. State investigators uncovered everything. Extra fees she pocketed, fake fines she invented, even loans she took in the HOA's name. Neighbors came forward with stories of being bullied, threatened, and overcharged. The picture was clear. Karen wasn't just bossy, she was a fraud. One evening, she showed up at my lawn, screaming through tears, "You destroyed me. I was president. I had power. Now I have nothing." I looked her straight in the eye. "No, Karen, you destroyed yourself." In the criminal trial, prosecutors presented her bank records. Transfers from HOA accounts, straight into her personal account. The judge shook his head. This wasn't negligence. This was theft. Karen cried, begging, but it didn't matter. She was fined heavily, stripped of all authority and her reputation, ruined forever. Months later, her house went up for sale. No one wanted her around. The self-proclaimed queen of the HOA was exiled from her own castle. And me? I sat on my porch planting flowers, the very thing she once tried to fine me for. Karen sued me for living outside her HOA. 3 minutes later, I dissolved her HOA forever. And in the end, it wasn't just my victory. It was freedom for everyone she had ever tried to control.